My name is Dan Carney. It's once again my privilege to preside over this meeting of the Board of Trustees, Weatherford College, being held on Thursday, June the 11th, 2026. We're beginning this morning at 12:32 p.m. in the community room of the Emerging Technologies and Workforce Building, 225 College Park Drive, Weatherford, Texas, to consider and act upon a posted agenda. In deliberations here today will be Secretary Leila Morris, Dr. Robert Marlette, Mr. G.B. Bailey, Miss Mary Beth Denny, and myself. I do call the meeting to order, and I would ask Brent Baker, would you provide us with an invocation?
Happy to, sir. Thank you. Please bow with me. Lord, we're very thankful to you again for our Board of Trustees, for the time they spend, they sacrifice. We're thankful for the hardworking faculty and staff that you have for us. We're especially thankful for our students. Please protect them this summer, bring them back to us safely in the fall, and please be with our board as they deliberate today. In your name we pray. Amen.
All who are able, please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Ms. Worley, do we have anyone signed up to address us on public comment? Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Point of personal privilege before we move on to item number 3 on the agenda. I'm going to steal a little bit of President Farmer's upcoming thunder. Dr. Andrew Cantrell, 46 years with this institution. I cannot express enough on behalf of this board our gratitude to you.
Thank you.
I'm going to invite everyone to stand and give Miss Dr. Cantrell please be seated. Doctor, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We now are to item number 3, the President's report. Dr. Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair and members of the Weatherford College Board of Trustees, I would like to give a few brief recognitions and employee notices. Recognition. Weatherford College's cardiovascular sonography program has earned accreditation from the Commission on Accreditation of Allied Health Programs, marking a new milestone for the program and expanding opportunities for its students. Those enrolled in the program can pursue professional registry credentials up to 60 days before graduation, allowing them to enter the job market more quickly with a competitive advantage. Weatherford College will launch Weekend College this fall, offering Friday and Saturday classes designed for students balancing work, family, and other commitments. The pilot initiative expands course availability while maintaining the same instructions, expectations, and academic pathways available during the traditional week. Dr. Alex Ebay, I'm going to ask you, if you don't mind, to come up and make a presentation to our chair. Dr. Ebay recently represented Weatherford College and accepted the award for Most Promising Places to Work in Community Colleges. This is the second consecutive year that WC has won this award. Go Coyotes!
That's wonderful.
Employee notices. DMAC Local requires the college president to provide the names of contract employees that have resigned since the last board meeting. As previously alluded to, after 46 years, our CFO and Executive Vice President of Finance and Administrative Services, Dr. Andra Cantrell, has announced her retirement effective 6/30/26. We thank Andra for her service and wish her the very best in future endeavors.
One more time.
We will be holding a retirement celebration for her, and more details about that will be announced here shortly with the announcements. Mr. Chair, that concludes the President's report.
Thank you very much, President Farmer. Item number 4 is our consent agenda and financial reports. We have items A through H that have been properly posted in regard to the consent agenda. Do we have any questions or comments from any of the board members about any of these? Well,
I have a question about the athletic insurance.
okay.
I was just wondering why the rodeo team athletes are not included on that?
This is intercollegiate. It's on a different program. The individual students have to carry their own insurance with rodeo,
Okay,
and that's part of the NRA rules.
okay.
So they're insured, and at representing us going off like that, we would have some liability on them. But they are individually insured, and that's a requirement of the NRA.
And-
That's not on intercollegiate
Each student carries their
Right.
own at their expense?
It's in their membership, basically.
Okay.
It was interesting. Have you looked at a chart that shows increase in incident per student over time? I mean, it looks like
Women's
dollar
basketball.
value's going up a lot, and I was just curious.
Well, that has a lot to do with surgeries and costs associated, but as we all know, insurance is going up.
That's why I was
too.
wondering, maybe a denominating statistic would be incident per student. To see, are we seeing an increase in insurance incidents per student? Or maybe
Jeff, that's
Mr.
probably a
Lightfoot
good
can,
question.
Yeah, it really varies from year to year. So some years we might have 3 ACL injuries, we might have a couple arm injuries, and those turn into surgeries, and some years we don't. But we could have our trainer, he has a lot of information on, he does a report every year on the number of injuries, the number of surgeries, and all that. We can provide that information to you in the future.
It'd
The
be
trainer
interesting
is
to-
actually responsible for filing and doing all the work with the insurance. Basically, we bid it out of our office.
if it's not a lot of effort, I think it'd be interesting just to look at incident per student
might
and
wanna
just see
put that in
what that
file.
looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Coach. So, do I hear a motion to approve?
I'll make a
the
motion.
consent agenda items A through H?
I so
Do
move.
we have a second? Dr. Marlette, all in favor, please raise your hand. Unanimously approved. Item number 5 on the agenda, consideration and possible action of the guaranteed maximum price for the 6 tennis practice courts. Dr. Cantrell, tell us about this.
Chad has worked diligently, Chad Bernard, and over the last few months is securing these bids for the tennis courts. At this point in time, he has submitted to us last week a guaranteed maximum price after their bidding of $2,621,783. If there's any questions, Chad, would you like to address this, some of your bidding with this?
Yeah, so what it is 6 practice tennis courts, and what we've done is we've built 3 of them are going to be practice courts forever, and then we cut out 3 of them out of the future competition courts to practice on as well, so that you didn't have to just build more practice courts. So I think the intent is to have practice here in lieu of somewhere else. And so right now the plan was to use some of those competition courts as practice courts. So this gets us done, so the mass grading is done over there now. We have the parking lot that's approved, and we're working on the parking lot right now, and this will be the 6 tennis courts as well over there.
What all is involved in this portion of it? What are we actually constructing? Give us an overview.
It's 3 practice tennis courts with nets around, or fencing around them, right? And then down below, we're going to go down some steps into the kind of the lower level with all the future 12 competition courts will be built. And right there, we cut out 3 courts right now that will serve as practice as well. And they'll have handrails, nice handrails around there, lighted bollards. We'll have sports lighting around there to light up the tennis courts. And we'll have, on that lower level tennis courts as well, we'll have fencing and screening around it as well.
Well, and I know we're not even in the planning stages perhaps of the rest of this, but
Right.
give us a brief overview of what ultimately you envision we're going to do with the rest of this.
Well, I think the vision is to not only have a sports gym over there, locker room, and then it's going to have all the 12 competition courts eventually, and then you're going to have another stadium, kind of like a, I hate to say, Wimbledon style stadium, to have bigger competitions over there. I believe that's the vision, is have other competitions and bring other schools in here for competitions and stuff.
Dr. Farmer, do you have anything that you'd like to add to?
Sure. Yeah, it's going to be, when it is completed, it's a multiple phase project, and we will proudly host not only collegiate tournaments, but also playoff tournaments for area high schools, as well as potentially opening up the facility for rental purposes for other venues such as USTA and other kinds of competitions for that. It will be state-of-the-art, and the competition courts that Chad references are differentiated from the practice courts by being sunken down into the ground, which creates a natural wind barrier. And the seating and the lighting is much more effective. There will be one in the final phase. The architectural renderings will show just an absolutely beautiful competition court, so that when we do hold tennis tournaments, the very finals of those tournaments will be placed on the championship court.
Do you have a vision yet of a timeline for that?
Timeline is as funding is available, and we are currently raising private funds for that, and we've had some very generous gifts from Nancy and Richard Stewart for the Stewart Tennis Center, as well as naming rights for the courts. We currently are offering naming rights, and we have two different entities with Imperial Construction and Huckabee that have already secured naming rights for two of those courts by donating to the construction project.
Very good.
I have a question. Are all the courts going to be lighted?
Yes, all the courts will be lined. Yep.
Okay, we're at the point of calling for a motion on this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do we have our language prepared? There it is under recommendation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you'll find the proposed language on the first page under recommendation. Is there a trustee that cares to make this motion?
Let's read that. I will.
Okay.
I move the Board of Trustees approve the guaranteed maximum price, GMP, for the 6 tennis practice courts received by Imperial Construction in the amount of $2,621,783 to be paid for from unrestricted reserve funds.
Thank you. Is there a second to Leila's motion?
So moved.
Okay. All in favor of this motion, please raise your hand. Appears to be unanimous. Thank you very much. So approved. Thank you, Chad. We appreciate you, sir. Item number 6 under reports, President Farmer once again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As always, we have our Wise County Academics and Student Services update provided for you in written form in your board books. And next we will move to a verbal presentation of our proposed 2026-2027 budget presentation by Dr. Andra Cantrell, and she has her trusted, esteemed colleague, Lisa Simons, with her as well. So, Dr. Cantrell, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Made me cry before I have to give my budget.
That was the whole point.
I want you to know, and I want to assure you right now, Lisa is a top-notch budget officer. She's been doing the budget pretty much for the last 5 years, at least.
That's good.
Okay, she's been here 27 years. Lisa and I work, if you've been to my office, we have adjoining offices and that door stays open most of the time. So she knows what's going on, I'll tell you, before I do most of the time. And so I want you to know that she could get up here and present this right now, but I'll present the last one and she's going to come back to you in August and present the very final one. As I will tell you in this, of course, there will be changes over the next 2 months. Sure. Always is. We don't get numbers in. In fact, this morning, we've been waiting on numbers on appropriations, and we got a letter from the state telling us what it would be. And we looked at it, and I said, I wish we hadn't received that today. I don't want to go in there and tell them that we're losing money. Well, before I left to come over here, we got another letter that said they've made errors in their recalculating. So forget all of that. We don't know anything from the state yet. But with this said, I'm going to go into the Weatherford College 26-27 budget proposed is presented as a balanced budget as of June 11th. 2026 in the amount of $115,182,647. To give you a little, in 46 years, I can tell you exactly how much that thing has grown, because it was about $4 million when I came to work here. So it has grown. The building is a beautiful campus now, and something that I personally take great pride in, and I'm so glad to have been a part of it.
Yes, ma'am.
If you'll turn to that first page, I think I must have gone too many pages. Oh, Lisa. No, it's its own. Okay. Here is the budget itself. Okay, you do that. That's good. She'll be a part of it. Our revenue is at 13.29%, as we talked about, and our state appropriations show flat at this time just because of the reason I just got through telling you. We haven't adjusted that, but I will tell you we're in the second year of a biennium. For the foundational money that we get, it wasn't supposed to change, but we will have some performance measure funding that hopefully will increase that amount in the next week or so, at least. We'll know. The student aid has increased $5,850,000. And I'm going to discuss these as I go along a little bit more, but overall I'll touch base on the high ones. I won't talk about all of them. The local taxes, that is an estimated figure based on last budgets in the past. We are estimating about a 6.65% on tax increase, and that usually, with our growth and everything, it usually falls about, that's what it has been averaging. We're looking at right now, and I'll tell you a little bit more about the appraisal values later on. Dropping down debt service, $1,175,555 increase, and that's mainly to do with interest income off of the bond funds, and that will go back into the to pay for any overages that we might have on the bond, construction, and debt service. And then we have a transfer, a non-mandatory transfer showing here of $3,243,120, and that's coming from Wise County campus budget. That has to do with our construction that we're about to get into. We've been working with architects on the Rad Tech program and the dental hygienist program up there. And so that this all brings us down to that 13 million. In our expenditures, it's pretty much throughout. We've got increases here. But the largest ones I see and look at and know that are there are our instructional academic and instructional vocational. And most of that, believe it or not, has to do with overloads and part-time. Over the last 2-3 years, adjunct, we've had great increases and that's been purposeful to attract outside people to teach more. So with that said, in the past, we have always allowed, if we had revenue coming in on tuition and fees and students were coming, we always allowed overloads to go above what was budgeted, or overloads in the adjunct to go over what was budgeted. Over the last 3 years, those amounts for the request have really not gone up. The requests coming in didn't balance, I guess you'd say, but we were still getting those revenues in, and it was still being expended. It just wasn't shown in the budget. Well, now we've gone back to reflect these figures, and based upon that, and also with the approved, in January, you all approved a 10% on your adjunct and part-time class instruction. So with all that, most of those dollars have to do with adjunct and overload. Moving down, plant operations and maintenance, $3,093,321. With that's a multitude of things. We had some increase with our new contract coming up, but we've also major repair rehabilitation of $3,500,000 is there, with project requests coming in across the board. I think actually the project request will be in there in the total right there on the Wise County, but that's where the expense is budgeted. Lisa, you can tell me anytime.
Yes, we have $2,500,000 in there for major repairs for Wise County for these new programs coming on.
The student aid has increased greatly this time, $6,372,000. I believe it was about, let me look back here. On the Pell alone went up $4 million this time, and this has to do with the workforce programs. A lot of it does with the increase there, and also $1,850,000 in Stafford loans is the majority of that, and then the other is just student aid and scholarships. Moving down to auxiliary services, $1,379,000. We're looking at an increase there. And that has to do with several areas. It has to do with cafeteria, dormitories. I think Canyon West has its own budget, but in all of those areas, Lisa, what else is in? Athletics, our athletic programs. And that's all athletic programs this time had a pretty big increase in it, which I'll go into detail later. And the golf course increased $548,000, but they also increased in revenue by $573,000, I believe it was. And the increase, a lot of it I didn't point out up there, but a lot of it had to do with being able to keep the fees on alcohol consumption. Really helped us a lot. Over 300 and some odd thousand of it came from there, and the other was like in green fees and some other areas. So I think overall they've done a very good job coming in here for us. The next line is depreciation. That's figured in advance, and then our debt service increased $73,206 for a total of $10,051,087 for your depreciation, not depreciation, but your debt service on all of your the bonds that we have out there. Okay, Lisa, it's your turn. On this one is our comparison of our revenues, and it gives you a little idea of what's happening in each of those areas. State appropriations are shown flat again. Student aid has gone way up, and that's mainly to do with that Pell dollars that we're receiving. Operating grants, right now, operating grants are shown, I believe, at what were they, Lisa? They were 739,000. However, is still pending because we're still getting grants in, and I look for that to be equal to or more to this year when y'all receive your last and final budget. Tuition and fees. Tuition and fees right now are, I believe we're, due to the fact that the governor has passed once again no increases in tuition and fees, it's at $98,774, and that has to do with growth in there, new programs that we have. Local taxes, and that's an estimate at this time. That's what we're looking at, a small increase there. Local funds other, it's pretty much, it's just a little bit more. Auxiliary is increasing. I think that's good, as much as we've increased with the cafeteria services and all the other things that we do, the athletic income that we have that comes in for the tournaments that are out there and the differing amounts. Golf course, that is reflected there. Public service is about flat. Debt service, once again, has gone up, but we've got something to show for it too. I think we're standing in one of those right now and anticipate a very beautiful one across the street. And then the final is that transfer non-mandatory, but we basically didn't have any transfer for last year, so that's just any would be an increase. Much of this that I'm about to tell you a little bit is just maybe a repeat of what I've just finished, so I won't dwell on it. As I said, we're waiting on the updated numbers from the state on the appropriations. The student loans, $5,850,000. Is primarily due to the Pell and Stafford, and I think I gave you those figures a minute ago. How much? The $4 million is the Pell, and $1,850,000 is Stafford loans. And that Stafford loans is just an in and an out. Both of those really are to the students. Operating grants, once again, we expect that to raise, and then the tuition fees the same. As I said, other major changes in revenue are in our local funds. That has increased by $386,500, and that's because of the required Texas Public Educational Grant transfer that's required by the state. We're required, out of every tuition dollar, 6% of that has to be set aside for scholarship money, basically for students to go. So that's that. Auxiliary service, once again, increased $315,000. Food service was $200,000 of that. Parking fees, $56,200, and we had some rodeo income this time, $43,400, a continuing. I think since we're doing our own rodeo and all that, I think that went up this last year, and we have greater expectations for this coming year that people are donating dollars for. Debt service revenue increased to $1,175,000. I think that's going to the next one. You already have. Net estimated tuition and fees total $26,972,056. This represents 36% of the three main sources of revenue, which are appropriation, tuition, fees, and local taxes. And tuition and fees, that's very minimal when you think about it. I mean, it's just, it's not a third, I could tell you that, of the total. It looks like it's a third, but when you look at it, the taxes, local taxes, and the state carry the bulk. So, but students get their bang for their buck. Major sources of revenue, including state appropriations, tuition fees, and local taxes. Net revenues from tuition fees is budgeted flat, and that's because of the governor. I don't know that we would have increased it this year necessarily with the revenue that we have, but that's, I don't know, in anticipation of the next few years if that's gonna raise or not. I can't guarantee that. And local tax revenue was budgeted at $2.6 million. Going into local property taxes, right now, we're still in an unknown stage, even though we have received a preliminary taxable value of $31,291,000. The preliminary taxable value includes frozen values over 65 of $6,345,500,000. The new construction table is $979,424,000, and the 2026 frozen levy is $4,620,000, basically. And all those will, by the time we won't receive the final values until the end of July to really go ahead and estimate the remaining of our revenue and what we will be projecting. I keep saying we, Lisa, what Lisa will be projecting for the coming year. And if she needs me, she has my number. I'll tell you that. We worked pretty closely on it last year, so I think she's got it down pretty good. But as I said, Wise County, I'll talk about them a little bit later to give you their numbers. When we received our appraised values, Wise County is usually under of an estimate in the early spring, and we're sometimes over, but I'm thinking it changes every year. You can't tell exactly what it's going to be, so it's very difficult to make any firm estimates on that. This is sort of a chart to just show you how the trend and what it will look like in Parker County property tax values. They've gone up, and that's all, we all know that looking around. Now we are, right this time, the next chart is local property taxes, and we're saying right now, we're looking at staying flat, trying to, and so it's at 0.10609 of your $100 taxable value. The state, once again, we were not able to get a copy. They have not posted it where we can get a hold of it. Is that correct, Lisa?
Correct.
On that rate, but last year was 0.1606 of 16 cents versus the 10.6% difference in the state average. So we are way below that. In fact, we are 38th lowest in the state out of 50 community colleges, or 48 now. So I guess we've lost. So that's
There were a couple that weren't.
hadn't reported. I think Collin County, some of them pulled out, didn't they, Dr. Farmer? So they're not with us. We don't have 50 now. Okay, moving over to the Wise County branch maintenance tax. The 2026 preliminary tax value was $15,609,417. This represents a $99,052,000 or 6.6% decrease in value over the 25 certified taxable values. But once again, we just got to wait till the end of July to get those. Kristen helps us in that arena and keep on top of that for us. Currently, Wise County, Weatherford College maintenance tax revenues, we have $4,850,000. We normally, before we adjust that, we wait for the the commissioners to meet, and they usually set that figure and it's transferred to us. It's what we will assess. The other major changes in expenditures, we have put in this budget, and we're going to allow you all to discuss further later, raises for the coming year. We put a placeholder of $1,500,000 in the institutional contingency for any potential raises that you might be looking at, or that we will be looking at. Adjunct and overload salaries, as I mentioned to you, basically have been increased by $2,225,000, and that's really a cumulative over about 3 years, I think, that represents. Major repairs, $3,500,000, and then our auxiliary enterprises expenditures increased by $1,379,000. The costs include the new cross-country program, a new gymnasium, scoreboard, sound system, coaches reclassification and where they were charged, and some adjustments that were made there, dormitory maintenance and improvements. Those are the majority of changes that we've seen in there, and so for a total of $1,379,000. My final page for you is just for your information. Truly, our supplies, overall supplies for the college have increased only by $21,000 for the year. Travel increased by $172,563, but a lot of that was for the new athletic programs and the new programs that are out there. Equipment increased by $1,245,000. Technology services decreased by $88,620. Good management from Priscilla Parsons on behalf of the college. Operating grants decreased by $739,000. We hope to increase those at the end. And performing scholarships increased by $222,000, and that was for the new cross-country program. Is that correct? And WCWC lease increased by $56,000 this year, but that's to pay for the county to pay debt service with.
Why would utilities decrease?
Adjustments, sometimes we were over budgeted, the prior year, and we try to take,
Solar panels.
yes, that's true. Just,
Good management.
yeah, that's right, good management. Any other questions that you might have on it? And for the next 2 weeks, I'm yours. If y'all think of any more questions, just let me know.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make one comment. We are an educational institution, but I think sometimes it's lost of what an economic impact that this college has on the city of Weatherford and Parker County in general. I mean, we are a big driver.
Absolutely.
Students that live here, faculty that lives here, things that we do operational wise for the college, and it's a big impact on the community in a very positive way.
That's true, and it's all due to everyone out here.
Right.
I just want to tell you all, as I usually do, that in 21, I think we adopted a 5-year plan. And at that time, you all told us that you wanted to work on personnel compensation, academic instruction, technology, and facilities. And I think you will see in this budget, that's what it's all about. And so, if you have no other questions at this time, this is a fast overview, I know, but that's the major portion of it.
Thank you,
And
Doctor.
once again, glad to give this final report from me, but you've got a good one in your hands right there.
Thank you, Dr. Cantrell, and thank you for your entire team, Lisa, and everyone else involved in preparing an ever increasingly complex budget. Last year, in the 2024-2025 athletic season, we had the greatest athletic season in Weatherford College history. And this year, 2025-2026, we shattered that record. And today we have with us our athletic director, Jeff Lightfoot, as well as assistant athletic director, Kylie May. And they have some great news to share with you about our athletic success for the entire year. And then they also have a little bit of information to share with you that is a way that we might be able to retain some of our high-performing coaches. This is in draft form. It's not something that we're going to ask you to take any action on today. It's just something that we are strongly considering, and we may bring this forward to you in August for your consideration and possible deliberation at that time. So with that, I'll turn the floor over to Athletic Director Jeff Lightfoot.
Thank you, Dr. Farmer. I appreciate the opportunity to come share with you about our athletic programs. Is that your last budget presentation?
Yes, sir.
It's got to feel pretty good.
Felt pretty good. I was worried about it last night, and I'm thinking, this is the last one.
Job well done.
Thank you.
Just like Dr. Farmer said, it's about raising the bar. I thought we had an outstanding year last year, and this year we're very excited to share what our student athletes have done. But before I jump into that, I'd like to talk a little bit about just how we define success and what that looks like. I think it's important in any organization when you start talking about, what are we doing, how are we succeeding. I think it's important for your staff and for everybody involved to define success and make sure you have a clear understanding of what that looks like. Number one, and I think this is maybe the most important job that I have, is you got to hire good people. In any organization, it starts with the staff that you have, and we're fortunate to have a very good staff, and you got to hire well, and you got to keep them. And then you got to set clear expectations, and that's my purpose here on this slide, is to help you understand what the expectations are for our athletic department. And number one, it starts with recruiting. You got to recruit elite student athletes that are going to excel on the court, playing field, rodeo arena, whatever your playing field might be. And they got to excel in the classroom. You got to have great character. So recruiting, it starts there. And you got to have coaches that are passionate about recruiting and have a clear understanding of what the expectations are. And then once you get them on campus, you got to develop them. You got to develop them mentally. You got to develop them physically. And you got to have a clear plan to do that. And I think our coaches do a good job of doing that. Obviously, when we want to compete, and not just compete on the playing field, but we want to compete academically as well. We want to compete in our conference, we want to compete in our region, and we want to compete nationally. One of the ways you do that is you got to schedule well. That's something that we've made a priority in our athletic department, is scheduling good people. If you've got aspirations to be the best in the country, then you've got to play some of the best people in the country to find out who you are and how you need to make adjustments. So we have to schedule well. And then we ask our coaches and our programs to bring value to the campus and bring value to the community. And in order to do that, you got to show up. You got to show up for your other programs. You got to show up for the community. You got to identify needs and address those needs. And you got to be a lifelong learner. You want to continue to grow as a coach and as a teacher. And I think our coaches do a good job of that. So talking about our coaches, I feel like we've got elite leaders. Starting with Coach Kylie May, our Assistant Athletic Director. She's Coach of the Year again this year in our conference. Southwest District Coach of the Year and ABCA District Coach of the Year. Her assistant, Naomi Warren, was named to the ABCA 30 and Under Up and Coming Coaches Award. Coach Dave Renhack in our golf program. Coach and Region Coach of the Year, Conference and Region Coach of the Year. Stephanie Wooten has our tennis program in the top 10 in the country with no facilities. She's getting after it with what she has, and got a lot of expectations for her. Once she gets facilities, the sky's the limit. Our rodeo program obviously is elite, with Johnny Emmons and Coach Kibbe. National powerhouse. They're a household name in the rodeo circuit, and Kibbe won Region Coach of the Year this year. Our coach, softball coach, Coach Williams, 400 plus wins, 12 postseason berths, 2 conference championships, and a national tournament berth. And our new head coach, Jed Kinsey, first year head coach, had our team in the regional finals. We've got exciting new hires in women's basketball, men's basketball, and our cross country coach. Excited about all of them, and they're getting after it, and they're proven winners and proven workers. Starting with recruiting, we're approaching 300 student athletes now. And that equates to roughly 4,200 hours taken. We've been given over 50 academic awards, and there's more to come. The All-American Awards haven't been awarded yet. I think this time last year I was presenting a little bit later, and those were already out. Those announcements have not been made yet, but we'll be well represented in the All-American realm as well. 9 out of our 10 programs have a GPA over 3.0, and our sophomores are graduating, and that's a testament to our coaches. They make it a priority to not only put them in classes, but to put them in classes that are going to equate to an associate's degree. Our coaches are getting our student athletes placed all over the country. My intent was to do a cool slide with the map of the United States with WC logos all over it, but I just didn't quite have that shot in my bag. I asked AI about it, and they got something close, but I couldn't quite get something that I was happy with. So we've got them placed all over the country, over 70 student athletes placed. That's a new record for our programs. Recruiters are showing up on campus. You see them at the baseball field, at the softball field, at the gym, at the golf course. WC's on the map, and that's a testament to our coaches and our student athletes. We've got elite programs. All of these programs here had a better year this year than they did the prior year. Volleyball, 4-time conference champs, regional champs this year, got 4th in the national tournament. That was their best finish. Softball, 40 wins, regional qualifier, regional final. They finished 23rd in the nation. Not their best finish, but it was an increase over last year. Baseball, 41 wins, regional qualifier, regional final, national ranking of 21. Men's golf won 4 tournaments. That was outstanding. They were conference champs, regional champs, and went to the national tournament. I put 5th. I put 4th. They got 5th in the national tournament. Women's golf were conference champs. They were regional runner-up, national qualifier, and finished 4th. That was their best finish. Men's and women's tennis were both national qualifiers, and men finished with a national rank of 6, and our women's finished with 10th, and that was their best finish. And rodeo has 12 going to the CNFNR, and that is their most that they have had, and that chapter still need to be written next week as they go to the finals. Individual achievement, we had 35 student athletes on the all-conference team and 4 conference players of the year. We had 9 All-Americans this year, student athletes that were All-American, and that was our highest number that we've had to date. Excited to announce is something I've been working on for quite some time. Been talking to Coach McKinley about, and something I've been trying to get our athletic departments on the same page. In the past, we've been several different brands. You know, baseball would be Nike or Rawlings, and basketball would be Under Armour, and somebody would be Adidas, and it was kind of all over the map. And you know, so one of the priorities I had was let's get all on the same page, and what better brand to do that with than Nike. So we signed a deal with Nike and BSN this spring. It is a deal like no other junior college has. It's more of a deal that's set aside for Division I schools and 4-year schools. So really excited about the things that's going to bring to our athletic programs. In terms of branding, we're all going to look the same. It's going to be a sharp appearance. It's going to help our recruiting. It's a recruiting advantage when a recruit comes on campus and they know that they get to wear Nike. They're going to be putting on Nike shoes and wearing Nike gear. It's a pretty cool deal, and it's a recruiting advantage. It increases your buying power. You know, when you're buying from a bunch of different small companies versus we're buying from one company, we're putting all our buying power together, it helps our budgets. And they put together a good package with comp dollars and things like that. And we hit certain goals that's going to help us with more comp dollars. So excited about the future. And BSN was generous enough to help us with the getting you guys in some Nike gear, so we're able to give you guys some hoodies. Hope you like those. This next slide, Dr. Farmer mentioned it a little bit. Something I was talking to Dr. Farmer about in the fall when I got the job is a way to get good coaches here and a way to keep them. And there are some schools out there that offer incentive programs, and it's really all over the map on how they do bonus structures and things like that in their athletic department. So I asked Coach Kylie May to look at it. Kylie, want to come up here? She's done a phenomenal job of putting this together and studied a bunch of different programs and came together with a bunch of different options for us. And again, like you said, this is just a rough draft and not asking for any action, but just want to introduce it to you today.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm excited to talk to you guys about this because when I interviewed at Weatherford College, one of the first questions I asked was, what are the incentives, are there bonuses? And the committee laughed at me. But I think this is a pretty a common practice now in the athletics world is to have incentives for coaches. If any of you have read the carrot principle, you know that people are motivated by a reward system. And I think that's really important when we're talking about coaches, because coaches want to win, they're motivated by winning, and this is a great way to incentivize winning and bringing in good athletes that aren't only good athletes but are good students as well. I've put together a pretty comprehensive plan. This is 13 pages. I've gone through every sport. I've learned more about every sport and how their conference championship, regional championship, national tournament works than like I ever thought I would know. But it's given me a really, I think, comprehensive and fair way to reward coaches based on the competition within each sport. For example, baseball has 160 baseball programs across the country. Their chances of getting to the national tournament, it's 6% of the teams that play in the national tournament. That's the toughest, sport out of anyone to get to the national tournament. Where golf and tennis, there's maybe 30 or 40 teams, and almost everyone makes it to the national tournament. So I've come up with a tiered kind of bonus structure with a $10,000 cap. Winning a national championship would get you a $10,000 bonus as a head coach. And then there are tiers below that. If you get the top 5% in the nation at the national event, then you get a $5,000 bonus. For some sports, like golf and tennis, that might mean you have to get second place, where for volleyball, there's 100 teams, so you have to be in the top 5. So it's kind of a percentage based on the number of teams that are competing in the country. A regional title, that's $3,000, $1,000 for a conference championship or other tournament qualification, for example, in that large bid. And then $100 per All-American. That makes the All-American team. And then it also rewards academic accomplishments. So if your team over the course of the year has over a 3.5 GPA, then you get another $300 bonus. For volleyball, that's our goal every year, is to get a 3.5 GPA. I think it's reasonable. I think all of those kids know how to work hard. And it rewards the coaches for helping those students be successful, getting them to study hall, coming up with plans for them, schedules, a planner, whatever they need to be successful. I think coaches have a responsibility in helping them, and they should be rewarded for pushing those student athletes to be the best that they can. So I won't get too much into the weeds because, like I said, this is like 13 pages, and I don't want to talk your ear off after all of that money talk. You don't want to hear more of it from me, but this is just kind of a baseline, a starting point for hopefully in the future something we can reward coaches with, and I think meets the industry standard that other colleges are also employing. Any questions about any of this?
I guess I have a question. Dr. Cantrell, what would that cost us to do all that? Do you have any idea?
I can tell you.
Oh, okay.
I put together, so I did an assessment kind of last year of what every coach would have received in bonuses based on how they performed last year. Baseball and softball were last year, and all the other sports were this academic year, 25-26. And the total amount that added up to was $26,560.50. This also includes an AD bonus, an assistant AD bonus, which is percentage based on the total of all the coaches' bonuses. So the AD bonus would be 15%.
Give me that total again.
26,000, sorry, I'm a fast talker, $26,562.50.
Callie, are we going to get a copy of your report?
Yes, I can send this to you for sure. It's broken down by sport, how many teams play in each sporting event, how many teams qualify for nationals, how they qualify for nationals. Some you have to, win your regional. Some it's automatic. So the bonuses are kind of played off of that. If you get an automatic bid to the national tournament and you don't have to win anything, then obviously there's not a bonus reward for that. But for teams that have to win a regional or get an at-large bid, then there's some balance there.
Now, do you get a bonus for doing all this?
I should.
It's a lot.
To that end, I would like to comment that Coach May has put a tremendous amount of work into this draft proposal. And we have athletic director meetings every couple of weeks, and we've been talking about this for months. And she's gone through several iterations of this draft to make it as fair and as reasonable as possible, within a reasonable price range that we can afford as an institution, that still gives a realistic incentive to retain some of our highly valued coaches that we have. So, Coach May, thank you so much for your efforts.
Yes.
Any other questions from an athletic standpoint?
Very
you.
interesting, very
Appreciate it.
interesting. Thank you. Are we down to
Yes, sir.
announcements now?
Yes, sir.
Brent Baker,
Yes, sir.
would you tell us what we need to know?
Yes, sir, I'll tell you. We have some upcoming events, and I'm going to give you a couple of months, since you're not meeting in July, of some events coming up. We have a production starting tonight, Shakespeare, Taming of the Shrew. The Shakespearean comedy starts tonight. It runs every night through Saturday, and then an afternoon performance on Sunday. President Farmer mentioned the illustrious career of Dr. Andrew Cantrell. We're going to celebrate that in this very room on Thursday, June the 25th at 2 o'clock. Lisa and her crew have put together a celebration for her, so please come if you can to that. Another theater performance, July 11th. This is children's theater. Peter Pan will be the performance at 11 o'clock that day. And then the summer musical will be Into the Woods. That will be 2 weekends, the weekend of July 24th and the weekend of July 31st. And Board, I'd like to ask for you to put on your calendars, we're having an alumni mixer at the Alumni House on August the 11th. And you don't have to be an alum to come, Board. We'd love to have you there and to meet some of our former students that night, 5 to 7 o'clock.
Thank you, Brent.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it very much. That takes us down to item number 8, our closed session portion of the agenda on real property and personnel matters. So at 1:29 p.m., we will go into closed sessions. We're back from our closed session deliberations. The time is now 1:53 p.m., again on June 11, 2026. Following our closed session on real property and personnel matters, that would take us down to agenda item number 9, consideration and possible action on real property. There are no action items under that line item. Takes us to number 10, consideration and possible action with regard to the public officer or employee section of our meeting, and we do not have any action items in connection with that. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
How about a second? I think we've got them both. All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
We're out of here.